Well, we've seen it in other sports, and now we have seen it in the Big Ten Conference. A game called off because of COVID-19. We all know the drill, and unfortunately it hits close to home this week as the Badgers game against Nebraska was called off. But we will move forward with our show. We will hear from Athletics Director Barry Alvarez and head football coach Paul Chryst, and we'll also turn our attention to Wisconsin Badgers basketball. They had their annual preseason events, held virtually, of course, this season. We'll hear from some of the players coming up on today's edition of the Badgers Sports Report.
5 to shoot. Price off the wing. Hanging. Beats Potter. Down the lane. Slam dunk. Counted. And a foul.
Badgers move from the field house to the Final Four.
Touchdown. Wisconsin. Kendrick Pryor.
Oh! Play spot open. Caulfield.
The Badger Sports Report is built by Ford, a proud partner of Wisconsin athletics. By Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee proudly supports the Wisconsin Badgers. And UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
When you've been injured, you need the hometown team on your side. Trust us to get you back in the game. Call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wisconsin Badger Athletics. One call, that's all.
Because of this, we made Ford Super Duty the most capable heavy-duty pickup ever. Because of this, we built Ford F-150 with 375 horsepower and best-in-class payload.
Rescue 614 en route.
Because of this, we built Ford Ranger with the terrain management system. And because Ford trucks are built for this, you made Ford America's best-selling brand.
Some see a grilled cheese sandwich and ask why. I see a new kitchen with a grill and ask why not.
I really need to start adding less to cart and more to savings.
Sitting on this couch so long made me want to make some changes, starting with this couch.
Yeah, I need a house with a different view. And this is the bank that will help you do it all. Because at U.S. Bank, our people are dedicated to turning your new inspiration into your next pursuit.
You've heard the saying, if it looks like bacon and it tastes like sausage, it's probably Johnsonville sausage strips. Oh, you never heard that? Well, sausage strips are pretty new. They're strips of sausage in amazing flavors like maple and chorizo. You can find this meaty miracle by the bacon, even though it's sausage.
Whoa. Injured? You need a team you can trust. Call Gruber Law Offices today, serving the people of Wisconsin for over 30 years. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Wisconsin Badger Athletics. One call, that's all.
Too tight in alignment again. Arucci wing to the left. Play fake. Mertz looks, flips right side. And that is caught. Touchdown, Wisconsin. As Graham Mertz on his first series as a starting quarterback with a touchdown pass as the Badgers first on the board. Mertz to Mason Stockey.
We were very excited about the fact that we could play. And I think the most dangerous thing is, being anxious to get back in, particularly, Heather, as you said, personally, I think we're a very good football team. And I thought we performed very well. Really impressed with the fact that we had, as you watch games, as I've been watching college football for the last several weeks, that first game, there were so many mistakes made by so many people, whether it be turnovers, penalties, etc. And we played such a clean game. And to turn around and not be able to play or continue to practice right now is very disappointing and frustrating. And I think the first thing, your natural tendency is, let's get back on the field and get right back at it. But that's where, you have to put priorities in order and make sure that our number one concern is health and safety of our athletes. And that's the priorities that we'll keep.
We want to do this the right way, and certainly, and that's where it's, you support the decision, because what matters most is, the health and safety of our players. And then I think you're also trying to do what provide them what they want most, and what we want, and that's the opportunity to play. And that's where you're trying to have that balance. And so I think you're going to try to look at everything that you can do that serves those two purposes.
Let's take a look at the timeline. Our first month of testing in practice, we had one positive. We had one positive test. I believe it was Wednesday prior to the game. We just felt with the number of positives in that short a timeline, the chancellor and I felt we have an issue, that we had to make this decision and get our arms around this.
The first thing we got to do is take advantage of this 7-day pause. And, every one of our guys will be tested every day, and hopefully we can show progress there, and give ourselves the opportunity to be talking about the next game.
Ordering groceries online from Hy-Vee is easy, and how I save time, especially during the holidays. For me, it doesn't get any better. Hey, I'll pass the rolls.
Nice. Please pass the gravy.
I got you.
No. I'll do it.
Hy-Vee Aisles Online. We deliver to Mahomes and your home for the holidays.
Does anyone need a knife?
No.
Compeer Financial has always been there for our clients and communities in any situation. And our support continues today as our clients work relentlessly to feed, clothe, and fuel the world. Compeer is proud to continue our strong commitment to our clients, the rural communities where they live, and to agriculture. We're here to help meet the financial needs of rural America, and we'll navigate through this together.
I know, Greg, you were kind of touching on it a few minutes ago, but now that you've had, 9 practices in the books, I know Coach Chris with football, he says at some point it has to start looking like football. And with all the protocols and the restrictions that you had, I'll still throw it out there. Is it starting to look like basketball now, what your guys are going through in camp?
It is. I think the one thing that's very advantageous is we have a lot of older guys. As you've seen, in the intros, there was a lot of seniors. So that experience, I think, allowed me and gave me a level of comfort to leave them home longer than normal in the summer, just based on, what we weren't going to be able to do here. And then also knowing that we had a bigger upperclassmen group, we wanted a bigger freshman group. And that was by design because I wanted them learning under their leadership. I knew how good their leadership was going to be. It obviously came to fruition at the end of last year. You don't win a championship without a great culture and without leaders in that locker room that are about the right things and saying and doing the right things for the greater good of the whole group every day. And that group of now seniors have set that bar and have really held the traditions and excellence of the Wisconsin program of classes that have gone before them that have won championships. And, they have been great role models to kind of take those younger guys under their wing. So, it's like I mentioned earlier, they want me to turn them loose 5-on-5 every day, all day. But we were following pretty much the normal practice plan. There's, I think we spent a major part of the fall really conditioning harder than normal because we couldn't do as much basketball specific things. And also knowing that what's coming, there's likely some pretty stiff competition in deep water coming early based on how our schedule is kind of formatting and what could happen. So I wanted to spend a lot of time on conditioning, and our guys did a good job of attacking that. And now we're pretty much in a normal routine with practice, really, in terms of I get 25 years of practice plans sitting off to my right here in my house, in my office. So other than not having the close scrimmage, and not having the exhibition game to kind of sprinkle in there, There'll be a lot of closed red-white games coming over the next few weeks. We'll have a record number of red-white games in the next 2-3 weeks.
And I would imagine they are going to be rather competitive. You've got some guys who know what they're doing out there.
Yeah, we do, and we have some very talented freshmen. So we kind of mix it up. We've put young and old together and kind of scrambled it up and let them go at it.
You mentioned the word schedule. The calendar says teams can play starting November 25th. That's the easy part, I guess, picking a date. And the hard part has been trying to line up the schedules. Can you give us an update on the process of that, how you've been attempting to put a schedule together here?
Well, I think a lot of it is not within our direct hands or in our direct hands. A lot of it's in terms of what we're seeing unfold nationally, in terms of different events that are not going to happen now. Also, what's changing in terms of maybe recommendations or guidelines nationally from a testing protocol. And then also, our league has done the best job of putting together a testing program and the ability to walk this forward as safe as possible for our student athletes. And nobody has better testing and better protocols than the Big Ten. And I think the people that we've had here, our trainer, Henry Perez-Guerrero, our doctors, our Mike Mull, our director of sports medicine, have done a phenomenal job trying to navigate, a pandemic, really, is what we're obviously trying to do. So we're scheduled that we can open November 25th. We're hoping that's what continues to come into play. We're not ready to make that public yet, but like I said, just working with our league. I'm on calls twice a week with our head coaches in the Big Ten, and we're talking through all scenarios, testing, travel, how do you handle officials? I mean, you name it. We could go on all night on everything. We get into on those calls, but it gives you, I tell you what, when you step back, it gives you an appreciation for what really goes into an event and all the people involved and all the things that you have to double and triple check on the safety protocols that you take for granted when things are running normally.
If we build this, all the legendary players will magically appear and we'll have sports again. I call it the Field of Fame. Of course, I'll have to tear down the garage, fill in the pool, and lose the trees. So can I get a loan?
So as your friend, I love it, but as your banker, not so much.
Let me talk to the friend.
You could always invest in a college fund.
No, my kids aren't going to college. They're going to work at the stadium.
Our kids are going to college.
Sports are back.
My wife wants to build a college.
And not a moment too soon.
You've heard the saying, if it looks like bacon and it tastes like sausage, it's probably Johnsonville sausage strips. Oh, you never heard that? Well, sausage strips are pretty new. They're strips of sausage in amazing flavors like maple and chorizo. You can find this meaty miracle by the bacon, even though it's sausage.
Whoa.
Hey, before we get into basketball questions, I want to ask you a non-basketball question because I know you were an integral part last month of a student athlete, a peaceful march on campus to try to promote social justice, and you were one of the leaders there. What did that day mean to you?
It meant a lot to me, really. Just being able to get out there and for all of us to come together and use our voice. And coincidentally, it did end up with me having the microphone in my hand and kind of leading it, which it wasn't the plan, but for me to be able to do that, I think Coach Gard even talked to me about that. That's years ago. I wouldn't have done that. So just seeing the growth for myself personally was huge for myself. But other than that, just having everyone come together and use their voices all together was huge.
I know last year at an event like this, and we were all in person, I think Patrick Herb asked some of your teammates, who's a guy to watch? Who's like the pick to click, or however you want to put it? And your teammates pointed the finger at you, saying that you're the guy to watch. And they were right. They turned out to be very, very accurate. So now I want to turn this around. I want to ask you, as one of the elders, so to speak, of the team, who's someone the rest of us should be watching, ready to make a jump?
I'd say Tyler Wahl. He had his flashes last season. You see, like, he's a great defender. He's versatile. He can do a lot, but I can tell he really worked this summer with his body and just overall with his game, his confidence and everything. And I'm really excited to see what he has for us this upcoming season and then for the remainder of his years.
That's a fun thought because he's not afraid. He wasn't afraid to mix it up last year, right? So now there's more of them to mix it up this year. Last one here for you, Aleem. I know, there's been so much uncertainty, and now that you guys are able to get on the floor, as much as you have appreciated everything, the opportunity to play, is it even more so now, just given everything that you guys have gone through to get to this point where you're preparing for a season?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, at first we're just excited to get back and be with each other, get out there and compete. And then I know we're all excited to get out there and play, get back on the Kohl Center floor, get back into some games. So I know we're all hungry and we have a even bigger chip on our shoulder, I'd say, to get back and try to continue what we had going for us last season.
Keeping yourself in condition, getting stronger during quarantine, and then, just the weeks and months leading up to basketball camp. How much of a challenge was that for you? How good do you feel right now?
A lot better than last year at this point, because obviously last year there was so much uncertainty whether I was going to play or not. But the biggest thing I focused on, and really from last year coming into this year, was my conditioning and like making sure I was in better shape. Obviously, it was so hard last year because I wasn't really going to play, and we didn't know I was going to play. So then repetitions and practice weren't as consistent, and just all that kind of stuff. And then obviously I had to kind of get adjusted, with the team and the team with me from a chemistry standpoint. So it just took a while for me to really get heavily involved into the mix. So the biggest thing for me was just making sure that I was ready, and Coach Gard mentioned how we conditioned harder this year than we did last year, making sure that I was, so to speak, leading the pack. I wanted to make sure I was pushing myself as hard as I could. I really focused on my diet this off season. I just, from the beginning of the summer to now, I put on about 12 pounds of lean body mass and lost, about 3% body fat. So I put on a lot of good weight and, changed my body composition, and I'm still, dieting. So it's like, I'm trying to improve that even more. But yeah, the biggest thing is just making sure I'm in the best shape I can possibly be, because there are a lot of guys who play really hard. I want to make sure I can stay on the floor for longer periods of time.
Last question for you, Micah, going back to last March 7th, everything you went through, you ended up playing 21 games, Badgers won 16 of those. When you walked off the floor in Bloomington, and maybe better yet, when you walked onto the plane with the trophy, put that into words, what that meant to you.
Oh my goodness. I don't know, Matt, it's tough because ever since I got to college, whether it be at Ohio State or here, I've always wanted to win a Big Ten championship. That's been the main goal of mine, honestly, since I've been in college, and just being able to finally achieve it after all the adversity that, not only I went through, but the entire team went through last year, and being able to hold the trophy and then be able to come back and see all the fans and the little parade we had, back at the Kohl Center after we landed back in Madison after the game in Bloomington. Like, everything about that day was just awesome. We fought back. We were down against Indiana. We fought back and ended up winning at the end. And then I got to celebrate in the locker room, got to see the coaches dance for the first time in my life, which was a lot of fun. And then obviously the trophy got brought in afterward. But no, it was unbelievable. The fulfillment that we got to feel from winning the Big Ten that last year after all we had gone through. Personally, obviously with me, with all the stuff I had gone through after leaving and then having to sit out longer and all that kind of stuff. It was one of the most unbelievable feelings I've ever felt in my life.
It seems like you're the teammates' pick, at least a couple of them, as a guy to watch. And they've mentioned there's more of you this year. You got a little stronger. Tell us about that and how that is translating on the basketball floor for you.
Yeah, for sure. Last year, getting pushed around, obviously in the Big Ten, being a little slimmer than most guys and being a freshman, it took a lot of my body. So getting sent home with COVID and everything, I kind of invested a lot of time into my body and putting on some weight and muscle, and it has really translated onto the court. I've been able to kind of hold my own and maybe put out a little bit more force than usual.
Yeah, you got into it. You dove in, right? Once quarantine lifted and you were able to get to a gym near your hometown, it sounded like you just about lived there, right?
Yeah, I'd go there probably every day of the week, and they had a great plan for me. I've been going there since I was a sophomore, sophomore in high school, and I just feel really comfortable, and they've done a great job with me. Great people there.
And in addition to the weight room work, Tyler, I understand you shot the ball, I don't know, a couple million times. Sounds like you're feeling better. I mean, we know what you can do in the defensive end. Certainly, there were a lot of standout moments. What you did at Ohio State in your win down there in Columbus, you get 3 steals among other things. But you getting more confidence on the offensive end too.
For sure, that was kind of a part that I wouldn't say lacking, but a little bit less confident in last year, and just putting in that off-season work and getting shots up has really helped me out a lot.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'll throw it out anyway. What's the best piece of advice now that you're a sophomore and you got a big freshman class? What was one of the first things you told those guys to kind of watch for? Here's what you can expect as you make the jump now to the Big Ten.
Yeah, everybody in the Big Ten is just faster and stronger, and I told them that you just have to live in the moment and take each day for what it's worth.
I know there was a story here over the weekend about the conditioning that Coach Gard and his guys had you go through. Instead of the hill, you had the stadium steps. And I'm understanding that wasn't a whole lot of fun. There's a purpose behind it, but what was that like for you?
It was hard. It was very hard to run up those steps however many times we ran up them. But I would say it was good for our team chemistry because we were all in there struggling together, and I would say it built us closer together.
What does it mean for you as a guy from Wisconsin to be playing now at the University of Wisconsin?
I mean, it's everything I could have hoped for, to be close to my family and play alongside my twin brother here in my home state. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
What's it been like? These older guys, they seem like they've taken you and your fellow freshmen in really well. But what's it been like? What's some advice maybe you've been getting from those guys along the way?
I mean, they just have a lot of experience, with all the seniors we have. They've been through it, for at least 4 years. Just any advice is all good advice from those guys.
There are guys that when they make that transition into college where there's that welcome to the Big Ten moment, it could be in a game. We'll circle back later on that topic. But even up till now, Johnny, has there been a moment in practice, conditioning where it's like, oh, okay, I'm not in high school anymore. I'm in the Big Ten Conference.
I'd probably say the first practice, nothing special really happened. It was just really exciting, a little bit nerve-wracking to finally start our first practice. But, I mean, it's just a lot different than being in high school. The guys are a lot more physical, smarter, stronger. And I'm excited to get working.
Ordering groceries online from Hy-Vee is easy, and how I save time, especially during the holidays. For me, it doesn't get any better. Hey, I'll pass the rolls.
Please pass the gravy.
I got you.
No. I'll do it.
Hy-Vee aisles online. We deliver to Mahomes and your home for the holidays.
Does anyone need a knife?
No.
It's back. The return of the prestigious Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, honoring college sports excellence across all competitive divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow along with L Directors Cup on Twitter or online to see which schools will be taking home a first place trophy in June for their season-long success. Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, a premier institutional award jointly launched in 1993 by USA Today and NACDA.
The Badger Sports Report is built by Ford, a proud partner of Wisconsin athletics. By Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee proudly supports the Wisconsin Badgers. And UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
We don't really like why we had to shift gears this week, but it's always fun to talk a little Wisconsin basketball as we had the chance to check in with Greg Gard's Badgers as they continue their preparations for the upcoming season. We also send our best wishes to all of those within the Wisconsin football program who have recently tested positive for COVID-19. We wish all of them a speedy recovery. And really that goes for all of you, anyone out there who is directly affected by this virus. We send our best wishes to you, and we offer once again our sincere thank you to all of the doctors, all of the nurses, all of the frontline workers who are helping in this fight against this terrible virus. We will talk to you next week on the Badger Sports Report. Thanks for watching.
Because of this, we made Ford Super Duty the most capable heavy-duty pickup ever. Because of this, we built Ford F-150 with 375 horsepower and best-in-class payload.
Rescue 614 en route.
Because of this, we built Ford Ranger with the terrain management system. And because Ford trucks are built for this, you made Ford America's best-selling brand.
Compeer Financial has always been there for our clients and communities in any situation. And our support continues today as our clients work relentlessly to feed, clothe, and fuel the world. Compeer is proud to continue our strong commitment to our clients, the rural communities where they live, and to agriculture. We're here to help meet the financial needs of rural America, and we'll navigate through this together.
You can try, but you'll never stop a Badger. Because we Badgers are born with curious minds and endless heart. When we see a curve in the road, we speed up. When there are mask shortages for first responders, we make our own supply chain. When there's a world on pause, we sharpen our claws. Through thunder, fire, and pandemics, we'll keep going. Because after all, you can't stop a Badger.